I guess we'll break form from prior years and get this thing rolling on time. We actually have the majority of participants logging in online, so it's probably 3/4 of the participative audience. I think there's about 40 people coming, so it's going to be noisy probably for the first 10 or 15 minutes as people funnel in. But we'll get it rolling anyway so we can get out of here early. Just a quick overview of what we're going to talk about today. My name's Dave Sabina, and I've hosted the Hamilton region, we call it SR&ED Practitioners group, this group for since probably the mid-90s sometime. I'm not exactly sure, 96, 97 I think we started. And there's other groups across Canada that get up and going and integrate with us. So what we'll talk about today are a variety of issues that I collect over the year of people asking me questions or bringing issues to bear. And I write some of them up in newsletters, so I put the cases in one and then other issues as they come up. Or we'll just discuss them free form. Some of the issues today have been well documented by other practitioners. So in one case, what I'm going to do is shift over the presentation to a remote participant, one of our group members, Brian Cookson, who wrote an article recently that compared the Canadian SR&ED process to the UK and has some recommendations on things that maybe the Canadian process could learn from it and you know, kind of the good and bad and ugly. So we'll switch over midstream, maybe take a break there, and we welcome participation both from the webcast members as well as local participants. We have extra microphones, so we'll be able to hopefully air your question and then address it. One thing to keep things on track is try to phrase the question in 30 seconds or less. So if it requires a large preamble or something, maybe reword it a little bit to figure out, you know, how can I cut to the core of the issue so we can make everyone understand it, address it, and keep moving on. Okay, so very quickly on our formal agenda, we're going to talk about about 6 different SR&ED tax cases. And then one major issue that I've been getting a lot of interest and feedback and questions on is the whole issue of whether medical practitioner or corporations should be able to claim SR&ED, and if so, how any funding that they get as part of their OHIP or alternate funding relates to that, and if it does in fact relate to that. So some interesting issues on that itself that relate to and raise other issues on the whole process or management of issues like this and how those issues are communicated to stakeholders and claimants at the same time. Okay. We're going to have Brian Cookson talk about an article that he published, as we said, on Canada and the UK. We may actually do that out of order just because he's got another appointment, so we're going to try to shift him up early in the process. And then we've got a list of other issues that I've kept separate that different practitioners have emailed in that they'd like to hear about. So time pending or time willing, we'll address those as well. Okay, so the first section is 6 different tax cases. The first deal with technology eligibility, and they are all related to software. There's one win, so we'll spend more time talking about that one. And there's 2 that lost, but we'll spend time talking about those as well. Both the issues and the CRA process to deal with that. Then we have 3 other cases that deal with financial issues. We tend to have the 1 win, 2 loss. Taxpayers not doing as well this year around, but I think there's good lessons to be learned from each of those. So we'll go through them really quickly and welcome any comment or feedback.